You guys are now recording.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
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 Good morning.
Morning.
This is our Pawnee Business Council quarterly meeting. The time is 9:10 a.m. on August 1. Welcome to August. Patsy, could we, okay, let's begin with a invocation, and I would call on Councilwoman Butler if you would bless us this morning, please.
Yes, sir. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day that you have given us and for your many blessings that you have bestowed upon us. I pray that you'll be with the Business Council today as we conduct business. Also pray for the safety of our tribal members and those who have been affected by this pandemic, those who are in quarantine, those who are tested positive for this virus, Lord. I pray for their healing and for their comfort, Lord. I pray that you'll be with all of those who are in the hospital, nursing homes, overseas. Pray that you'll just be with each and every person, Lord. And pray that we ask all these things in your son, Jesus. We pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Councilwoman. May I ask for the roll call at this point? Patsy, please.
Walter Eckelhawk,
Here.
Carol Chapman,
Here.
Tricia McCray, here. Cynthia Butler,
Here.
Donna Hare,
Here.
Charles Lone Chief,
Here.
Charles Knife Chief.
Here.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It looks like all hands are on deck, and we do have a quorum. So with that, let us move to approval of the agenda. Has everyone had a chance to look at the agenda?
Yes.
Yes.
Are there any discussions here about it, concerns, amendments?
May I interject at this second? I want to make sure that everyone has the amended agenda. The one that was in Teams originally was the first one, and the amended one has the executive session in it. Okay?
Yes.
That's the one that was emailed out this morning? Okay.
I just put the amended one in Teams this morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did not realize it wasn't in there until this morning when I checked.
Thank you, Muriel.
Thank you.
I didn't see it, but I'll just follow along.
Okay. May I, do we need a motion to approve the agenda?
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second. Do we have a second?
Second.
I'll second. I got Dr. Knife Chief.
Any discussion? Hearing none, may I call for a vote?
Charles Lone Chief,
I abstained because I didn't see the amended agenda.
Patricia McCray, yes. Carol Chapman,
Yes.
Cynthia Butler,
Yes.
Donna Hare,
Yes.
Charles Knife Chief.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next agenda item is the president's report. And I just want to say that I was sworn in on July 6th. And the month of July has been a very busy one for me with orientation and coming up to speed on the tribal processes and issues. And that learning curve continues. I'm very much enjoying my new position and am truly inspired by our dedicated and hardworking Pawnee Nation staff. Even though everyone is laboring under these challenging conditions imposed by the coronavirus pandemic. And in my short tenure, not a week has gone by without some employees having a brush with the risk of infection, some having to go into quarantine, and others, unfortunately, getting infected. I myself had to be tested once last week, but luckily for me, it came out negative. But despite these unavoidable work disruptions caused by the pandemic, it seems that the Turk procedures have been holding the line for us so far. I fear that our work disruptions will worsen as this pandemic worsens. But for me, I've found that I've been working about 6 days a week for the most part during the month of orientation of July. Here as I'm getting up to speed, I've presided over 3 business council meetings, one with the joint meeting with the TDC so far. And my administrative duties, signing documents and back-to-back meetings every Tuesday, Thursday. It's been a very busy month. So I just wanted to summarize briefly some of my major activities for you in July. First relates to the legal team. And in July, I have been carrying out the Business Council wishes and putting together a legal team for the Pawnee Nation with help from Muriel and Harrison. And I'll have more to report on that and the pending negotiations and discussions during our executive session. Second major thing that I've been working on, which has kind of diverted my attention from other things, has been this Pawnee school reopening. This month, I established a school reopening task force composed of some of our Turk members and Pawnee Nation educators to begin reviewing the school reopening plans for the Pawnee public schools, Pawnee Nation College, Pawnee Nation Charter School, Head Start, and child care programs. And we have other public schools in our jurisdiction that we want to examine later this month. This task force that I created, we want to be sure that our students and their families and teachers will have a safe education amid this pandemic this year. And everyone is working towards their reopening, in a few weeks. So it's kind of a front burner, a public health issue for me. So far, we have begun talks with the Pawnee Public School Superintendent Womack and the school board vice president, Dr. Gene Evans. We had a meeting Thursday, I believe it was, via telephone conference, and we have set up a meeting on August 4 to discuss our task force concerns and recommendations for the Pawnee Public Schools. Secondly, so far, I met with President Mike Burgess of the Pawnee Nation College on the same subjects. It appears that the Pawnee Nation College is all online for all students, for all courses, and they have in place a stringent set of procedures for their facilities. It includes limited access, social distancing, masks, as well as regular disinfecting of their premises. So we hope to also reach out to our tribal schools, the charter school, Head Start and child care programs. I want to begin that this week, upcoming week. And other schools in Yale and Cleveland, Oklahoma. So that's sort of been diverting a lot of my attention this month because it is time-wise, it's on the front burner. The second initiative that I worked on this month with staff is to develop this Pawnee Business Council Forum on COVID-19 relief funds, which is now set for August 8th. That's next Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. We have published notice of this forum on the Pawnee Nation website and Facebook page. And we hope to, we will be finalizing the online venue and the procedures for the forum and the agenda within the next couple days. And I hope that all council members will be able to take part in this agenda of this forum and listening session on that date. It's a Saturday. It'll set the stage for all of our pandemic decision making in the coming weeks on the COVID relief monies that we do have. And I hope to brief our tribal members on everything that's been done to date, what some of our thinking is at this point for future expenditures, as well as laying out the legal guidelines that we're operating under for that will guide the spending decisions. The fourth area that I've been working on this month is to create a human resource bank. And I've been working with the HR department and planning department and enrollment to create a human resource bank that will be composed of talented Pawnee professionals who could volunteer to render advice and guidance to our committees, boards, commissions, and special projects. That is in the works right now. I hope to create that bank by the end of August. I think it will strengthen our government infrastructure and our tribal initiatives by calling upon our own people, many of whom are leaders in their professions and fields, to come to the aid of their nation and be volunteers, to us. And I think that will strengthen our government. And then the fifth area that I've been working on this month is looking at our nation committees. I've reviewed our committee membership lists and studied the handbook concerning appointments and filling vacancies, and had a meeting with council members here at Butler and Lone Chief to develop a plan for filling vacancies and making appointments, which I hope to do later this month. And we're also thinking, just for your information right now, of combining the Land and Property Committee, since it's basically the same people and they have overlapping functions. So we're studying what that might consist of, and also for everyone's edification as well, I'm thinking of beginning to study out the creation of two new committees. One would be a medical committee composed of volunteers of our Pawnee doctors and medical professions to help review our tribal COVID plans and procedures and needs, to advise us as we go along on the reopening, monitor our processes, and just add that extra layer of safety. And secondly, I'm also thinking about the possibility or the desirability of creating a communications committee that might help improve the ways that our government communicates internally and externally during this pandemic, and also in the new normal, so that we might aim towards being on the cutting edge of communication technologies to help us with our self-government activities, with our communicating with our tribal members and the public. So I'm thinking about those, and basically my goal with respect to committees is to do what we can to strengthen our committee system that is so important to our self-government. So that concludes basically my my report at this time. I just have to say that I'm very, very impressed by the broad sweep of our different divisions and departments, and our wonderful, wonderful staff, dedicated, very efficient, competent staff that we do have. I think we're very fortunate. And in reading these quarterly reports, I'm very impressed, by the broad sweep of governmental activities that we're carrying on here. So with that, I just want to, and also say that I feel that my impression at this point, having been on board since July 6, I guess, is that I feel like we have a very good council, that we're able to work together in unity and on the basis of mutual respect and goodwill. And I think that is what is called for at the present time, in terms of the big problems that are facing our nation, to have unity among our tribal leadership as we try to navigate this deadly pandemic, as we try to meet our economy, which has been sorely affected and during the present time as well. So, but I know it's a dark hour on those big issues, but I just am very, very optimistic. I look forward on going on this journey, with everyone on this council and the staff that are here at the quarterly meeting as well. So with that, that concludes my report. If there's any questions or comments. Hearing none, I guess we could turn to the next item on the agenda, which is the Pawnee Nation Tribal Development Corporation report. And we're very pleased to have chair of the TDC board, Mr. Jeff Goodfox, here with us. So with that, maybe we can turn our attention to Chairman Goodfox. Welcome, sir.
Hey, you're muted.
I think you're muted, sir.
Yeah, you are. Now we don't hear you yet.
I think you have to push your unmute button on your screen or something.
I sent him a quick email telling him he's muted. I'm guessing that's his issue.
No, I think it's his headphones because
Oh.
Teams wasn't allowing me to use my headphones the other day, so I haven't been using them. So you might just unplug your headphones and use your mic on your laptop.
Looks like maybe that's what he's going to do now.
Not yet.
Not yet. Nope.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
I think you have to unmute your unmute so we can hear you. No. Still muted. Jamie, is there anything that you could do to help Mr. Good Fox?
No, it looks like it's coming from his end because he's not muted. We could try to. Do you have another way to get on, like a phone or something?
Maybe, maybe what we could do is if you guys want to proceed and perhaps Jamie could work with Jeff on the side and get him fixed up. And then we could come back to Jeff.
That'd be a good idea.
Jeff, why don't we come back to you once you get your technical end fixed up, and we'll proceed with Muriel's report here, the executive director's report, and maybe Jamie can communicate with you on the side and you can get rolling here after her report here.
He's waiting in the lobby.
Okay. So Muriel, if with that, if you could give us your report.
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
You have I'm sorry, what was that? Is he on the phone?
Can you hear me?
There he is.
Yes.
Jeff, you're there. Okay. Good, I'm glad.
Are we back to me?
Yes, let's go ahead and proceed with Jeff.
Okay, welcome, Mr. Good Fox. Thank you for joining us this morning.
I wish I had better news. I guess you guys got the second quarter bullets, and then the notes from Bob, right?
What note?
That Bob sent you the second quarter files.
I'm not sure, is that in our teams?
No, it's not in the Teams. It's in should be in the email.
Okay, let me look for it. No, there is, the last email I see from him is on the 8th of July.
Yeah, there's nothing new.
Why don't you just recap what he said for us, Jeff? I'm not sure I know what you're referring to either.
Let me just go ahead and read this to you then. It looks like it was sent out July 15th to the council. And I'll just go ahead and read it. It says, during this time of global pandemic, the Pawnee Tribal Development Corporation is going through some trying times. While our retail business are profitable, for the most part, the gaming revenues have taken a huge slide due to closing of the gaming facilities for 2 months more. Once reopened, the gaming facilities will have made every effort to abide by CDC guideline compelling PTDC to reduce the number of available slot machines by almost 50%. Stonewood Casino reopened on May 15th after being dark for almost 2 full months. There was no revenue for gaming from March 18th through May 15th. We are currently operating 157 slot machines out of 317, which is 45% due to social distancing. Since reopening, gaming revenues through July 14th have been running at 81% of net revenues year over year for the same. So we've been not at 50%, so they've been doing a really good job of bringing people in, even though we have half the machines. Year over year, 2020 over 2019, total net gaming revenues at Stonewood are down over $1.5 million. Gaming at the Travel Plaza is scheduled to resume on July 24th with fewer than a dozen games live. TP Casino reopened on June the 4th, and the property was dark for 81 days. We are currently operating 20 slot machines out of 34, which is 59% capacity. Since reopening, TP's gaming revenues through July 6th have been running at 67.7% of net revenues for the same dates of the previous year. Year over year, total net gaming revenues at TP are down $265,469. Trading Post Casino reopened on July 2nd. The property was dark for 102 days due to the casino closing and completion of renovation to the gaming floor. We're currently operating 24 of the 54 games at Trading Post, but 3 were waiting coin testing before being put back into action. Net revenues for the July 2nd through July 14th ran at 63% for the same days last year. Year over year, 2020 over 2019, total net gaming revenues at Trading Post are down $316,447. Overall, net gaming revenue in 2020 is running over $2 million behind 2019. In May, TC was profitable at the Travel Plaza, Stonewood Casinos, Howlers, and Snack and Pack. The Trading Post did not reopen until July 2nd. Trading Post Retail is still closed for renovation until July 27th. Overall, convenience store revenue in May was down 36% compared to May of 2019. And TC Corporate has a loss of $208,514, which includes marketing, accounting, HR, IT, safety, security, director of retail, and administrative expenses. The directors at TDC and the CEO have met continually within the past week, and the management team will be presenting an austerity budget to the TDC board on July 21st. We cannot continue to go forward with 100% expenses when our revenues are at 62.4% of 2019 net. TDC is in a hiring freeze except for essential positions, and I have some information for our competitors. The Paradise is has closed on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and they're open Thursday through Sunday, 4 to 12. Red Rock is pretty much the same thing. Seven Clans and Perry is open 7 days a week, 11 to 1. Cimarron is 10 to 12, Monday through Thursday. They're closed Sunday, I believe. Friday and Saturday, it's 10 to 2. And Ponca has not opened yet. But at our last meeting, we were looking at reducing the buyers in the Stonewood. So let me see. We have 24 enrolled Pawnees, 18.9% of employment. Pawnee Descent, we have 7, 5.5. Tribal is 25, 19.7%. Non-tribal is 70 at 55%. One employee, and total active employees is 125 with 2 inactive. I will see that Bob resends this out. If not, I'll get it out to you today or tomorrow.
I did receive that, Jeff, because I printed it out, everything you read. So I just couldn't find it back on my emails, but I do know I did print that out.
Yeah, I found mine as well in the email.
Okay.
Council, are there any questions of Mr. Goodfox or Jeff? Are you done for? Does that conclude what you had to say?
I do have some talking points that I got. If you want me to go through them,
Yes, please.
While retail, kind of a summary. While retail convenience store businesses is profitable for the quarter, the gaming revenue has taken a huge slide due to the closing of the gaming facilities for 2 months or more. Once reopened, the gaming facilities have made every effort to abide by CDC guidelines, compelling TDC to reduce the number of available slot machines by almost 50% to maintain. Stonewood Casino reopened on May 15th after being dark for almost 2 full months. There was no revenue from gaming from March 18th through May 15th. Since reopening, Stonewood gaming revenues through July 14th have been running 81%.
Jeff, you're kind of garbling up. If you could adjust your mic or your.
I'm getting some feedback from somebody else. Somebody has their microphone on, I think. Is that better? There we go.
Okay.
Okay, Stonewood Casino reopened on May 15th after being dark for almost 2 full months. There was no revenue for gaming from March 18th through May 15th. Since reopening, Stonewood gaming revenues through July 14th have been running at 81% of revenues year over year for the same period. Year over year, 2020 to 2019, total net gaming revenues at Stonewolf are down, like I said, over $1.5 million. TP Casino reopened on June 4th, and the property was dark for 81 days. Since reopening, TP's gaming revenues through July 6th have been running at 67% of net revenues for the same dates in the previous year. Year over year, 2020 over 2019, total net gaming revenues at TP are down $265,469. Trading Post Casino reopened July 2nd. The property was dark for 102 days due to casino closing of renovation to the gaming floor. And net revenues for the July 2nd through July 14th ran at 63% for the same days last year. So year over year, Trading Posts are down over $300,000. Overall, net gaming revenue in 2020 is running over $2 million behind 2019. Food and beverage revenue at Howler's has a loss of $34,000 in June, and net sales at Howler's restaurant in the month of June totaled $12,500, while personnel expenses alone for that month totaled over $35,000. Through June 2020, Howler's has lost $137,000 for the year. Actually, Howler's has lost over $1.5 million since 2013. So the average yearly loss is over $200,000 a year for Howler's. Year-over-year revenues for TDC are running at 62% of the 2019 revenues through July 15th. So the directors at TDC presented a turnaround and recovery plan to the board on the 16th, which included a recommendation to close Howler's restaurant indefinitely. The bar will be left open, but reducing the entire TDC workforce by 32 positions and 21% of the staff. The board unanimously approved it, and implementation began on July 23rd. The TDC continues to be proactive with our communication with First Secure Bank regarding the loan. First Secure has given us 6 months of forgiveness on the principal payments on the loan. This reduces the debt service expense by almost $100,000 a month. So due to our gaming business shutdown and COVID-19, we did not meet one of our loan covenants, which is the leverage ratio. But John Mendoza from First Secure has presented a covenant waiver to the bank's loan committee on our behalf. We will have official word on after their meeting on August 14th. And I think that's it. I wish I had better news, but it's the state of business now. I think you're muted.
Oh, okay, there. Thank you. It sounds like TDC has taken a big hit as a result of this pandemic, and that you are forced to take some corrective action to navigate that big hit. And I don't see that this pandemic, there's an end in sight in the pandemic side. You know, it could be, I think, looking forward, I think, to more spikes as school opens across the state. Very difficult economic times with our economy. And so I just want to commend the TDC for taking what steps are necessary at this time to navigate these very difficult economic times. It also, as I'm sure you know, affects the tribal government as well, you know, since we depend on revenues, you know, from the TDC. So I just acknowledge these difficult times, and I see these layoffs. We hate to see them, but I think for myself, I understand, you know, why that is necessary, and it looks like Howler's was an open wound, bleeding, and that you've taken steps that you need to do to stop the bleeding or hemorrhaging, I guess, that of your revenues there. I would just say to the council that this is a pandemic-related problem that's going on that Howler's is dealing with. And I think it's a COVID-related matter. So, it's very important to the Pawnee Nation and the Pawnee Nation government because we do so heavily rely upon TDC revenues. So, you know, I don't know what we can do in terms of our COVID relief funding for the TDC. We've invited Bob Demick to give us a listing of what TDC needs might be to navigate this COVID and the hits that you have taken. So I'm looking forward to looking at that and seeing where the Business Council can come to the aid of the TDC during this time of economic crisis that you're facing. And so we hope to work closely with the TDC and seeing what we can do to help. I think also that I would recommend to the council as well that that we should not be in two different silos during the course of this pandemic, but that maybe we need to figure out a way where our business council can meet with your board more frequently or stay in close contact to work close together. You know, for example, on the business side or the business council side, we're going into a planning mode in the next 90 days on strategic planning. And I know that TDC has planning duties as well under your charter, that the TDC is supposed to have economic development plans and goals as well. And perhaps we need to work together, you know, on a joint planning initiative, you know, to how are we going to get to the promised land? What does that promised land look like? From the TDC, you know, we want to know what our economy is going to look like in the promised land and how are we going to get there, you know. So I think we need to work together on planning and also closely how we navigate this pandemic and how we can support each other, you know. So I just wanted to say that much, and it's very sombering news that you carry. Somehow we're going to have to find a way to contend with it, not only the TDC, but also the Business Council. And so I with that, those comments, I have no solutions right now, but I turn this over to my members of the Business Council, as well as the staff that are on the line, Muriel and Jamie, you know, any questions or comments or clarifications that anyone might have of Jeff at this time.
So Jeff, thanks for your very factual report, as grim as it may have been, but the facts are the facts. And I think everybody realizes, and everybody should realize, this is not a TDC board or management problem as far as the point where we got to. It's an external source of a virus that's just running rampant. And, you know, the numbers that you were reporting, totally not unexpected. I mean, how can you expect to generate revenue when a pandemic is shutting down your business? And if people get focused on TDC or on the tribe itself, all they have to do is step back and see what's happening across the nation. All the different businesses that are going out of business, all the unemployment that's increased because of what's going on. And you know, one good thing about this is it always gives you an opportunity to see how you can trim things that may have been in place for a while, and by modifying and changing different things, it'll help in the long run when things ramp up again. I just, you know, as far as I'm concerned, the Pawnee Business Council needs to do whatever we can to support you, to help you make it through these difficult financial times. And there may be some financial decisions we'll need to make on behalf of the nation and TDC that some people may not agree with, but you know, let's face it, the gaming is what contributes a big chunk to our tribal budget. We need to do everything we can to keep it afloat and keep going. I mean, there's just it's like, again, it's an external source that we're having to fight and deal with, and I hope everybody realizes that is what the issue is.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for those remarks, Dr. Knife Chief. Let me just ask, that puts it in perspective, Mr. Good Fox, because I think all tribes are having similar problems, as well as all businesses across the state and the country as well. So you're not alone in this. Mike, I had a quick question for you, and then I want to turn this back over to the council members for their comments and input. But my question is TDC applying for COVID funding to help meet your problems here? Because I know a lot of businesses are going, applying to the federal government for various aid during this pandemic. And I would hope and I would presume that TDC is doing the same thing with vigor. And so that's my question. Are you applying for available business relief monies, through the, COVID monies that are out there?
Yes, absolutely. We also applied for through insurance, which we were denied. And as you know, our lawyer is looking in to contest that, and we'll have a follow up on it. But right now, it's in the process of being contested for the insurance.
What have you applied for any grants of any kind on COVID? And I don't know who in your shop would be the point persons for doing that. Are they coordinating with our fundraising and planning departments to see what's out there? Do we know? Have you searched high and low? I mean, it may be that if you chased after these fundings, that many of your problems could be resolved, through federal aid that might be available to your businesses.
Yeah, we are. And I know Bob and Mr. Seipold have been working on that. So
any luck? You got any grants in the hopper?
Nothing coming this way. There might be. I've heard there might be around 2, but we don't know anything right now.
May I suggest that who in TDC is responsible for making grant applications, if anyone, and should they be consulting with their counterparts in the Pawnee Nation government to work together to try to get some federal funding for you guys?
We've been working with Scott. Bob has been working with Mr. Seipold on that, and Denton's law firm. So,
because if you guys aren't applying for funding for available assistance, that could be a short failing. If you want to come to the tribe, we'll try to help you from the same pot of money. But it just seems to me that you guys would probably be eligible, as well as any of the other businesses across the country, to go after pandemic relief monies for your businesses. And if you're not doing that, by golly, I would say you better get busy on it.
Oh yeah.
And if you need help, we have counterparts in the government that you should be sitting down with and trying to figure out how you can get some federal relief for all of the businesses that you have just listed.
Yeah, when this first happened and they first had the money, like such as the PPP, the money, we were told that we were in queue within 4 hours of that being announced. So, the CARES funding, I'm trying to bring that up. I guess I'll get you the information on what we have
Okay.
filled out and what I'll get that to you.
Okay, thank you. And also, you might talk with Bob Dimick and see if the responsible TDC people that would be responsible for raising money during this pandemic from available relief sources, both federal and state, that they should be sitting down with our counterparts here, and maybe jointly we can try to identify some funding sources for you. Because
Okay.
you're facing a very grim situation, as you mentioned. And maybe there's money out there and maybe there ain't, but I think we need to scour the landscape to see if there are monies there. And I know that's what the Pawnee Nation staff have been doing. They've been going out after grants and receiving grants, et cetera, and you guys, I think, need to be doing the same thing. And if you need help, why, I think we maybe we could help you a bit on that. So
Okay.
So with that, council, are there any other questions?
Thank you, Jeff, for your report. I was just curious on listening. You said that the retail side of the post was supposed to be opening up, I believe, on the 27th. Are they open now as of August 1st?
I believe so. I didn't go. I don't know if they had a special opening or if it was a soft opening, but I didn't hear otherwise that it wasn't open. So the Mazzios, if it's not up yet, it should be up soon.
It's open. The trading post is open. I went in maybe about a week and a half ago, and maybe 2 weeks ago. But it's open. They were doing the construction on the other side. But I want to commend you and TDC for how serious you are taking the safety issues with this COVID. I have gone to a few casinos that other tribes manage, and it just gone and noticed, and ours is above, from what I've seen, ours is above or right there too with, pretty much Hard Rock really doing well in trying to protect our patrons and employees. So thank you.
Thank you, Donna. I have another thought
Thank
there
you,
to
Donna.
add on to what Donna just said. If it is true that the Stone Wolf gaming facility is head and shoulders above the rest of the casinos in terms of safety, safe gaming opportunities, we should be getting some PR on that. I think your PR department, whoever's responsible for getting PR, should be generating some press stories about that. That it's safe to come to Stone Wolf. If that's the case, the best public relations is free. That is to generate press coverage. And so if you've spent a lot of time and money making it safe out there, that's safer than other area casinos, by golly, let's honk our horn on it.
Yeah.
Advertising and press coverage. And that gives you a leg up, to raise get your percentages of revenues up by getting the image out there as a safe gaming place where the public can come in comparison to other casinos.
Yeah, there's a radio commercial on right now about one of the tribal casinos talking about the other ones just giving lip service, and we are truly doing what we need to be doing. I mean, that's the whole point of their commercial.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if we're there, let's honk our horn and get out there. I would invite. Apparently, Stillwater is one of our primary markets. Let's invite the press to come out and look at the facility and do a story on it. We need to be real proactive in our public your advertising and PR aspect, and so that's something that you can blow your horn on, I think.
Okay, will do. Definitely. I agree.
Thank you. Council, any other comments, questions?
Oh, thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, guys.
Yes, well, thank you so much for taking that time out of your Saturday and coming. And again, you have the support of the council, it sounds like, in navigating these problems. We want to work with you, see where we can be of assistance. So we fully understand the external forces that you're contending with, and we appreciate everything that's being done over there. And thank you so much for being with us today.
Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
No kidding.
Okay, so now our next item is the Executive Director's Report.
Okay, let's start this again. So it is a good morning. Y'all have received copies of all of the quarterly reports from all of the divisions and their respective departments. And in reviewing those reports, considering all of the issues that have been faced by, all of our programs and everything, we are still providing services to our tribal members. But we are doing it in a safe manner. And we are having weekly Turk meetings to discuss what's going on and issues that are happening, and trying to take care of things as we go. It hasn't been easy. It hasn't been an easy quarter. The last 2 quarters, we had just started into this on the first quarter, and then the second quarter, this pandemic was in full bloom at this time. And so each of our programs, they have listened to what's going on and have made the changes that they need to make in order to still be able to provide assistance. And that says a lot. Their people have not only tried to make, of course, they want to make sure that their staff is safe, but they also want to make sure that their participants are safe. And it's not always easy, but it is being done. And at different times, we've had different buildings or different offices had to shut down this quarter, but they all have come back, and they have increased their safety regiment for their own staff to make sure that, try to help not get caught in that situation again. Of course, just recently, and that didn't happen in last quarter, but just an indication of what's going on is currently this week, especially here in Building 64, we've had 2 positive cases of COVID come up. And those people are home now in quarantine, but also the people that were exposed through this, they are also at home, and they're getting ready to be tested again. I think Monday's the first round for some of them. The 2 main offices that were affected this time was not only was finance, but also the executive office was affected this time. And we're still providing services. We was able to do a temporary hire for someone to take care of the receptionist area, and another staff member from another division actually has come to the executive office to assist in the executive office. So it's people, they, there's, I don't know, it's kind of like our staff, they understand what's going on and they try to help the different offices and divisions that are affected at different times to make sure that they have adequate staff to at least, continue working. And it is appreciated. Our staff, it's like our staff, they take care of each other. If they see, like I said, if they see somebody else having issues with staffing because of COVID, they try to help with it. And so it is this cohesiveness that our tribe has as far as our employees and everything. It's a wonderful thing to have, and they're doing a great job considering all of the circumstances that are going on. We've received some more grants in regard to COVID, and those are going to be advertised soon as to what assistance they'll be able to provide to our tribal membership, and they're working on that. One of the issues that has come up is also too is for the money for the children that are going back to school, and in order to take care of electronic equipment that they will be needing. We have already put out the applications for that. We have had a decent response already, and so it's coming along. That's coming along, and I'll be working with Harrison in order to start getting these processed as soon as possible. We just sent out the 8th round of the assistance that we have given out to the adult members, and the numbers are going down every week on people that are requesting this. So we're doing really well. We're over 75% of the people of our tribal members have been assisted in regard to that. It's not only just, of course, our local tribal membership, but also our tribal membership throughout the states. So, that's one of the things that, says a lot. We've been fortunate also in the fact that we've had tribal members that have come to us and have wanted to help. And so there's been a couple of donations come in from tribal members in order to help other tribal members. And so that assistance is now available. So it's we're receiving assistance from several different areas. So it's been difficult, but it's also, when things get tough, it's like our people are starting to rally to try to help each other. And of course, that's always a wonderful thing that happens. You have a copy of my report in your packet. Of course, there's a copy of my quarterly report is in the main packet, but this is just an up-to-date report that I put together and have submitted. And it's there's been so much that's been going on. The schools, we're getting ready to start school soon, but also too, we're also looking at different things that may happen. And of course, one of the things that we're looking at is the fact that if things don't go well with this COVID this fall, and our children end up being schooled from home, a lot of parents cannot provide internet service for their children, a lot of families. And that, that can be difficult for a child to do their homework with. Another issue that I saw this spring was the fact that a lot of children that did have access, they were having problems with the portal to the local school system in order to get their paperwork turned in. So the education office, IT office, I've gotten them together, and we was looking at that. And of course, one of the things that's being developed and being finalized is the fact that we're going to be doing access points throughout the tribal reserve, and these will be wireless access points, and also it'll be placed up at the learning center downtown, and this will be able to provide our students with access to the internet and to the portal with the local school system. The other thing that we're looking at is providing monitors, especially like at one of the locations. It will be downtown, but that monitor, one of the things that they'll be doing is helping the student make sure that they can get their paperwork turned in through the portal to the school. So they're going to be helping them with that. But if things get larger than what we're looking at downtown, we're already looking at other areas where we could possibly place children so that they can have a safe place to go, to sit down and be able to do their homework, and have a monitor there to help them if they need help. And also, one of the other things is, and people might think it's kind of crazy, but I kind of like the idea, is the fact that they'll even have access at our playground area. They'll have access down at the campgrounds. So, we want to be able to provide them with that capability, but it won't only help just our local our children that are in the local public school system, but it'll also help our Pawnee Nation College students too, to have some type of internet access. So, those are the things that we're looking at. And just as a bythought, looking at it and looking at everything is, if things do go that far, then I'm looking at working with HCS into the possibility of opening up the gymnasium during the day and having someone there that can help the children work out during the day, so that they can maybe have small exercise classes to clear their minds while they're after they've been working on a computer and doing their homework. So a lot of things can come out of this, but we're just trying to finalize all of this so that in the event that it is needed, it's there. And even if things go well and it's not needed, it's still there for them to be able to utilize. So, it's those are just some of the things that we've been looking at. And of course, Turk is always looking at the issues and seeing if we need to make some changes in regard to how we deal with possible exposures, or even people that are positive. One thing I looked at was in July, in the month of July, the first, I started doing this on the 8th, and I looked at Pawnee County. We had 61 positive cases of COVID. As of yesterday, we had 116. It's almost doubled in less than a month. So, whereas we've been able to hold our own for right now, the numbers are starting to go up now, even here in Pawnee. So, those are things that we really have to address and look at and make plans. And so, it's not easy, but we have good people working in that Turk committee that have a real concern about the ongoing issues, and they're wanting to make sure that people are going to be safe. And so, it's been trying times, and they've come through very well. I'm very proud of them. And so, are there any questions?
If I may just interject here, Council, I just wanted to add on to what Muriel has said, but first I'd like to commend Muriel. This has really been my first opportunity for working closely with Muriel. My office is just adjacent to hers. And I know, and I've seen that we're very fortunate to have Muriel. You know, she works very hard, very long hours. She's extremely knowledgeable about our tribe and the community, as well as the programs and issues facing the government and its staff. She's very, very competent in the work that she does do, in my view, after seeing her work. She's open and very easy to work with, and she's been very, very, very helpful to me. And so I just wanted to commend her and just say that I look forward to working with her as we go down the road. And I also can't say enough about our Pawnee Nation staff. And as she mentioned, you know, they do help out each other. It's very uplifting to see the teamwork that they have, and knowing that we work under dangerous conditions. And it's also uplifting to see some of our tribal members contributing, you know, in times of need and times of adversity. Our people have always made sacrifices, you know. And it reminds me of JFK, you know, what he said, you know, in times of need, you know, ask not what your nation can do for you, but for what you can do for your nation. And so it's very uplifting to see our members and staff, you know, trying to work together, you know, to navigate these times that we live in. And I'm very excited about the work that Muriel and her staff are doing as far as trying to help our online students. Up in the Pawnee school system, there are two options out there. One is for parents to have their kids go to school, and the other is the online option. And I think that we can help those students that want to take the safer route to do the online option. Even though many of them don't have computers or high-speed internet, there's a lot that we can do by way of COVID to help those students that fall through the cracks and provide spaces and computers and hotspots and monitors, you know, working in tandem with the school. For all of our, you know, we have about 39% of the local school are Native people. Possibly many of them will opt for the online, and there's a lot that we could gear up for to help meet their needs, you know. Anyway, that's all. I just also wanted to mention too that I need also to thank Morgan Littleson, who came over to the Tribal Reserve last week and smoked cedar smoked off Building 64 and the staff that worked there, as well as others. He offered a very powerful prayer, you know, at that time, you know, for our nation and our people, that that this COVID will go around us, and that those that are ill will recover. He prayed, you know, to cure any ill will and ill feelings among our people, and offered a very powerful prayer for our folks, you know. And so I needed to thank him and acknowledge him as well, you know. Council, are there any comments and questions and concerns, anything you have on your minds for Muriel?
Well, there's a wide range of what schools are going to be doing, all the way from just opening the doors of school as it is with no precautions, to schools opening with precautions, with screening and masks, to online studies. I kind of kind of like a little hybrid idea of providing a safe place for students and have Wi-Fi access and have the laptops available and things like that. Because a hybrid situation really would be more control over what's happening versus online at home. When a student's online at home, you never know who's coming into that house. You never know who has had precautions or not precautions. And I mean, self-quarantine, for the most part, people aren't really self-quarantined. People are still coming in and out of their family members and friends and such. So it might be a little more controlled if we provided space that we knew that masks were being worn, that distancing was being taken place, that tables and doorknobs and things were being wiped all the time. So, Mary, I think that it'd be a good idea to kind of look at what our resources would be to provide this kind of in-between home and school.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Thanks
we do have the funding available to do it. So that was why we were looking at doing something like this, to be able to provide those monitors, to be able to provide those safe places, to be able to provide the internet access.
Yeah, as we mentioned before, it'd also be an opportunity to make sure they have lunch.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's the next issue that we're looking at.
Yes, I think there's always a silver lining in every dark cloud, and one silver lining for us, or the Pawnee Nation, is that if we can get very proactive and vigorous in the online education for those public school students that opt for that, that will help, I think, jumpstart our charter school initiative. It would be a testing ground, I think, for the charter school, and it just helps our education department get hands-on, in straight up education of our native students, and strengthening, I think, in the new normal, our education opportunity and programs here on in the Pawnee Nation. So we're definitely going to look at that, and we have been working with the school board too, and I think they are going to be increasing their protections both on options 1 and options 2. Any other questions or comments for Muriel, folks?
No.
I do. This is Donna. So I want to echo thanking, you, Muriel. And it was really good to hear about the teamwork that you talked about with the tribal staff. And they've had it hard with the COVID and with the politics. And so I thank you and I thank the staff for hanging in there, with us while we get through this. And the other thing is, I did notice in one of the reports, it was in the grants and contracts report, that there was some concern expressed about the Shakopee grant not being spent at the level and the activities not, being conducted, I guess, because of the COVID. So one question I have is, can we get some language classes online?
That's a possibility. That's a very good possibility.
Classes. Yeah, if we could have some and kind of interactive ones, or just some new language classes.
Yes. Our working under Teams, our Teams app, has proven to us that we can do a lot with it, and I just hadn't gotten that far in my thinking yet. But thank you for bringing it up, and that's something that I'm going to be pursuing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. I meant Noah Itty.
Any other comments, council? By golly, I guess hearing no more comments, Muriel, thank you very much for your report, and I appreciate everything that you're doing, and your staff in the executive office, Jamie, as well as Louise and Lauren also for pinch hitting during our quarantines there. So with that, hearing no further, I think we'll move, Muriel, to the next agenda item. And here we have, we're moving into the approval of the different quarterly reports. First of the divisions, second of the committee, commission, and board reports, and then thirdly, the financial quarterly reports. And everyone has received those reports in advance, and hopefully everyone has had the opportunity to read those reports. I know it took me about at least 3 hours plus to go through it was like reading a small book, you know. And I know for myself, I was really impressed with the number and amount of activity in very diverse areas that are being professionally conducted by these different divisions and departments within these divisions across the board. Very, very impressive and very broad areas of work that's being done. And so now it's up to us to review and I guess approve these reports that we've received. And the first one is this very in-depth program report from our divisions. This being a 88-page document. The question is whether this council can approve these reports at this time. And are there any comments or discussions or questions that we have, council, regarding these quarterly reports for our divisions?
My comment on Muriel's executive report, director's report, really belonged in this section. So these quarterly reports. So I just wanted to note that.
Well, I have no comments, but I'd like to make a motion to approve the Pawnee Nation Division's quarterly reports.
Is there a second?
I will second.
I got Donna.
We have a motion and we have a second. Any further discussion?
I have just one thing on the
Yes.
cover. It should have all the council members listed and it only has 4. So if we can just add the other 2 council members on there, I'd appreciate that.
Thank you.
So noted. Thank you.
Any other questions before we call for the vote? Comments? Patsy, call for the vote, please.
Charles Lone Teeth,
Yes.
Patricia McRae, yes. Carol Chapman,
Yes.
Cynthia Butler,
Yes.
Donna Hare,
Yes.
Charles Knife.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you very much, council. Next, we have a 62-page report. The Pawnee Nation Committee, Commission, and Board reports. Same question here. Is there any preliminary questions or comments? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve this report, quarterly report?
I'll make the motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
I'll second. Oh, go ahead, buddy.
Okay, I got
Let's let Buddy 2 seconds.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Any discussion prior to calling for the vote?
Just the same for the cover sheet on this one as well. It'll be for the next one too.
All right, I've got them. Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia. Any other comments, questions? Hearing none, call for the vote, please.
Charles Lone Chief,
Yes.
Patricia McCray, yes. Carol Chapman,
Yes.
Cynthia Butler,
Yes.
Donna Hare,
Yes.
Charles Knife Chief.
Yes.
Thank you, Council. The next set of quarterly reports is the Pawnee Nation financial report. And this is a 91-page document filled with budget, expenditure, and revenue analyses. Are there any preliminary questions or comments by the council? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Any discussion before we call for the vote? Hearing none. Patricia, may I ask if you'll call for the vote, please?
Charles Lone Chief,
Yes.
Patricia McCray, yes. Carol Chapman,
Yes.
Cynthia Butler,
Yes.
Donna Hare,
Yes.
Charles Knife Chief.
Yes.
Thank you, Council. At this point, let us turn to old business on the agenda, and here we have a 2020 property budget modification number 2. Who is going to present on that mod, please?
Harrison.
Ah,
Good morning, council.
Good morning.
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 Mr.
Yeah, so this-
Mr. Perry appears out of the blue, right on cue. Good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Yes, this budget mod is adding the COLA money into their budget. So I don't have the exact number in front of me right now. 13,000 something, I believe. We zeroed out all the direct increases in direct costs. So the only increase you see on there is in the indirect side. This budget normally comes in under budget, so it should be covered. The increase should be covered by the coming in under this year. So budget committee reviewed it. We thought it looked good and then recommended approval.
Council, are there any questions? Comments? Hearing none, may I ask for a motion on this, please?
I'll make a motion to approve. This is Cynthia.
Do we have a second?
I will second. This is Donna.
We have a motion and we have a second. Any discussion before we call for the vote? Hearing none. Patsy, would you call for the vote, please?
Yes, sir. Charles Lone Chief,
You're still muted.
Charles Lone Chief,
Buddy, I think they're muted.
Yes.
There he is.
Trisha McCray,
Sorry.
yes. Carol Chapman,
Yes.
Cynthia Butler,
Yes.
Donna Hare,
Yes.
Charles Knife.
Yes.
Thank you, council, and also thank you, Mr. Perry. I just had a quick comment. I just want to tell the council that I feel that we're very fortunate to have Mr. Perry, with the Pawnee Nation in his capacity as our finance director. I found him to be extremely valuable to our government, very knowledgeable in his field, and very, very nice to work with, and so I just wanted to say that much, and thank you, Mr. Perry, for your fine work. Also, I wonder, I know you're on your Saturday, but we're going to be going into an executive session. If you're going to stay with us this long, you would be, I think, invited to sit in on that executive session. If not, that would be okay too. I'll leave that up to your option. But if you're going to be here, why, please feel welcome to join us in the executive session.
Okay, thank you for your kind words, Mr. President, and I will join you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Excellent. Well, let's move on to new business here. We have, by way of new business, first up is resolution number 20-62, which is in your packets. And this is a resolution that would make a board appointment to the TDC board, which is basically a hot seat, I think, at the present time due to our financial woes that have been imposed upon our economy by the pandemic. And if I could turn the discussion over to Donna and to Cynthia, they spent a lot of time interviewing the candidates that we did have for this these two important appointments that we were looking at here. I did get to sit in on a few, but not all of the interviews, so I'm basically bowing to Donna and Cynthia's leadership on these appointments. And so I'd like to just turn this over, if I may, Donna, to you to lead the discussion, if I could call on you with regard to this, both this resolution 62 as well as the next one, which is 63, both of which would be resolutions to fill those vacancies.
Okay. Yes, President Echo Hawk, thank you so much. We did spend the afternoon interviewing, and we had some really good applicants. And so we were glad we had 2 openings, and we wished we would have had maybe 4 or 5 because there are some good ones. So the applicants that, since we only have 2 and there were 7 that applied, most of those we will probably be referring on to you for your human resource listing, because we had some really good people. And so anyway, I don't know if Cynthia really wants to add anything to this. I know that she may want to help me out as we go into the voting process as we go in for this first resolution.
Nothing to add. We're just going to use the raise of your hand whenever we go through the list of names.
Okay.
Looks like Buddy already voted.
I know.
I know, I'm just lowering it.
What?
All right, this is gonna be interesting. If you're ready, I will go for this. Get ready. Okay, so Cynthia, I should just say each name. If the hand comes up, then I'm gonna mark it against on my paper, right?
Yes.
Okay. Justin Reiner.
What? Do we vote for him?
If you
Is this now where we raise the hand?
Yes,
Yes.
this is where you raise the hand on the name you choose.
And you'll vote for two people. So you have two
Okay.
votes.
Okay.
Okay, wait, I'm
I
confused.
guess-
I'm not gonna go through this twice. I'm only gonna go through it once.
I would just do it once and tally all the votes.
See what the vote numbers are.
Top two.
Yeah.
Okay,
And up to.
That'll work.
let's try this again. Justin Reiner. Debbie Howell. Brian Kirk. Crystal Prill. Reva Howell. One moment. Lost my place on my paper. Carol Nettle. Kelly Lewis. Okay, I'm a little confused. I didn't get two votes on everybody.
Did everybody vote twice?
I don't think so.
I did.
I thought I did.
Yeah, I think I got yours. I knew this was going to be hard. Because I only have 10 votes. 11.
Okay.
So I should have 14, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. How about we start over one more time?
All right.
Okay.
I'm going to wipe these out. Okay. Justin Reiner.
Wait.
Wait, let her remove all these.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank
All
you.
right.
All right. We'll try this again. Justin Reiner.
And leave them up there. Leave them up there for a couple of seconds so that she can see it.
Yeah.
Because I noticed that they're coming up and going back down real fast.
That's why I'm trying to mark. Okay. Debbie Howell. Brian Kirk. Crystal Prill. Reva Howell. Carol Nettle. Kelly Lewis. Cynthia, are you getting
Yes.
these? Because I am not. Can you? I'm on a different computer too, so.
I think I got most of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Yeah,
9.
I sent you a text.
Okay.
Give me a few seconds. One more time.
Yeah.
Hey, would it
Sorry.
I apologize.
be
You're fine.
easier for you to do if we did one at a time?
Yeah, I think if we
Okay.
did it one, and because I have two lists here, let's just try that. We'll try it. Okay, first time, resolution 2062. I'll let her delete all those off. Thank you so much, Cynthia.
So this time we're only voting once.
One time,
Yes.
oh.
Vote once.
Justin Reiner. Debbie Howell. Brian Kirk. Crystal Prill. Reva Howell. Carol Nuttall. Oh, wait.
I record. Yeah, I recorded that one.
Okay. Carol Nuttall. Kelly Lewis.
Did you get all that recorded? There should have been 6 votes then.
Plus my own. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm texting you. I apologize. Trying to get this right.
Okay, we're good.
Okay. I show 4 for Reva. Correct?
Yes.
Correct me. Carol Nuttall 2.
Yes.
Justin Reiner 1.
Yes.
Okay, that's that total. So I would say on that is Reva Howell.
I make a motion to approve resolution 20. I don't know what the number is for Reva Howell to be appointed to the TDC board.
2062.
2062.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Call for the vote, please.
Charles Lone Chief.
Yes.
Patricia McCray. Yes. Carol Chapman.
Yes.
Cynthia Butler.
Yes.
Donna Hare.
Yes.
Charles Night Chief. Sorry.
Yes.
All right. Thank you all.
You all set? We'll go with the 2063?
Yes, so I think, yeah, I'm sorry. We are now looking at resolution 2063 to fill the second seat on the TDC board. And Councilwoman McCray, I don't know how you want to proceed on that. Same voting process?
Yes, same voting process. Thank you.
Okay, let us proceed.
Okay. Justin Reiner. Debbie Howell. Brian Kirk. Crystal Prill. Carol Nettle. Kelly Lewis. Am I missing one? One moment. Cynthia, will you check your text, see if you get the same numbers as I, please, ma'am?
Yes. Hold on. Hasn't come through yet.
Okay. I feel like I'm missing one, but maybe I missed it.
That's what I got.
So I'm missing one.
Well, there should be only 6 votes.
Oh, duh. Why? There's 7 of us, isn't there?
Yeah, but President Echohawk still doesn't vote on this.
Sorry, my bad. I can't see these hands coming up. Okay, I have Kelly Lewis 4, excuse me, and Carol Nettle 2. Kelly Lewis has the majority.
Make a motion to approve Resolution 2063 to appoint Kelly Lewis to the TDC board.
I second.
Any discussion before we call for the vote? Hearing none, may I call for the vote, please?
Charles Longchief,
Yes.
Patricia McCray, yes. Carol Chapman,
Oops.
You just muted yourself again.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Cynthia Butler,
Yes.
Donna Hare,
Yes.
Charles Knifechief.
Yes.
All right, thank you all for your patience and new learning process.
Yes, thank you, Council, and congratulations to our new board members. They're going to be assets, I believe, to the TDC, and I send them my well wishes. And thank you, Council, for your votes, and also to Donna and Cynthia for doing the interviews for us. With that, let us turn to our last new business item, and these are the budget recommendations. We have 3 of them, and the first one is a 2020 DHCS budget mod number 2. Who is going to present on that? Is that going to be you, Mr. Perry?
Yes, I can speak to that.
Okay.
Okay,
You
so
have
this
the floor.
This modification is adding money. We received 2 private donations of $10,000. One from a Pawnee tribal member, and the other one from a foundation. And we're adding this into the DHCS budget to be able to give money out to the tribal citizens. It's all related to COVID. Budget committee reviewed it and recommends approval.
Thank you. Council, are there any discussions before we call for a motion? Hearing none, may I ask for a motion, please?
I will make a motion.
I'll second it.
Excuse me. We have a motion and a second.
I didn't get, who was the first motion? Donna?
Yeah.
Okay, second?
Carol.
Carol, thank you. Sorry, I can't recognize your voices some.
We have a motion and we have a second. Any discussion before we call for the vote? Hearing none, call for the vote, please.
Charles Lone Chief,
Yes.
Tricia McCray, yes. Carol Chapman,
Yes.
Cynthia Butler,
Yes.
Donna Hare,
Yes.
Charles Knife Chief.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council. The second item is a 2020 BIA CARES funds. Harrison, are you going to present on that one as well?
I think that one is Muriel's budget.
Okay. Muriel, you have the floor.
This is the CARES money that was sent from the Bureau. And when it was originally sent, they had asked that it be placed under the Aid Tribal Government contract, which we did. But then we received further information on it, and they asked that it be a separate budget so that it'd be easier to track all the expenditures on it. And so that's what this budget is for. And it has a different number from the Aid to Tribal Government, and it has the full amount of money that's in there. And so that's all we're doing is we're taking it and putting it into its own budget.
So no new funds, just placed in a separate budget.
Pardon?
No additional funds, it's just placed into a separate budget.
No, just this funds, the same amount that we got in the beginning.
Okay.
Any other questions, Council? Hearing none, do we have a motion, please?
I make
Motion to approve 2020 BIA CARES funds.
Second.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, I got Dr. Knife Chief and Carol.
Thank you. Do we have any further discussion before we call for a vote? Hearing none, call for the vote, please.
Charles Lone Chief,
Yes.
Patricia McCray, yes. Carol Chapman,
Yes.
Cynthia Butler,
Yes.
Donna Hare,
Yes.
Charles Knife Chief.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council. The final item we have is a Title VI Indian Education School Supply donation request. Who is going to present on that, please?
I can go ahead and start presenting since I was acting treasurer when the, or interim treasurer when the request came in.
Thank you.
Okay, so Indian Education at Pawnee Schools, they did not get funding for their supplies this year. So they were asking Pawnee Nation if we could help. And they usually coordinate, and Cindy might want to jump in and add anything that I may not have correct or may omit. But they usually have do a team approach with our education program on, ordering and then filling the bags and getting everything ready. So it's been a little challenging this year because we've had an education division of one, two, and then when Jamie came to the executive office, one. So I think that hiring they may have to look at doing the supplies a little bit different this year just to get them in on time. I'm not sure. They may be able to do it the way they always do it. And I'll just go ahead and leave this little space here if Cindy wants to add to it.
I have nothing more to add. Just kind of curious of where we're going to take the money from.
I think
Yeah, how much is requested?
7,200 is requested, and it was just kind of an estimate that she gave us. She said actual cost was probably closer to 12,000, but that's the amount that she submitted was 7,200.
I would just add that this letter, I guess that's the letter from Vicki Pratt, who is the Title VI coordinator at public schools. I read her letter and also talked with her about this, and her letter makes it clear that that this contribution that we're being asked, this donation request, is something that we have done in the past pretty regularly, and with the COVID conditions affecting the parents and the economy, I think that those school supplies that they're requesting is probably needed now more than ever under the pandemic conditions. And Vicki has said we've always kind of done this in the past, you know, so this has got a long history of us helping our students with their supplies, and so I look upon it very favorably. I just wanted to add that much.
Yeah, I was just a little confused because I saw that letter also about that she thought that realistically it'd be $12,000. So I just wanted to make sure how much are we approving and where's it coming from?
So, council, may I speak?
Sure.
Yes. After reading the letter, this is something I believe would, qualify under our CARES Act funding. There's money in there for schools and helping out with schools. So I think this is something we could use that as a funding source. And if we wanted to, we could actually do the $12,000. I mean, it'd be up to you how much you wanted to fund, but it would be allowable expense under the guidance.
Well, if it's allowable, which I suspect it was because it's COVID related, then I would say approve the $12,000.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree too.
So do we need a motion to approve the specific amount?
Yes.
I'll make a motion.
And the source, okay, we already decided the source, right? Or have we?
Yes.
Okay.
CARES.
So we have
since we're using the CARES money, since we're using the CARES money, does this have to be done by resolution since it's an appropriation?
That is how you've been doing the rest of the funds, have been done by resolution.
Well, then why don't we just make it a motion to approve the donation request?
Are you comfortable with that, President Echohawk, on allocating COVID funds right now?
Well, I know that we're having the COVID forum next Saturday, as I mentioned earlier, on the 8th of August. And we were wanting to, at that time, hear from our tribal members as well as certain staff, and programs about what are all of the COVID needs that are out there. And this would certainly be one, and certainly an allowable expense. But I was hoping to generally table all decisions until after we had that forum. But I think in this instance, it's pretty evident that this would be among those needs, and it is allowable. So I think it's just, let me just ask the council. I think it would be okay to go ahead and approve it now, or if it could be late, tabled until after the forum, we could stir that in with all of the other needs and decisions that we would have to make shortly thereafter, including action on this request in total to increase it from 72 to the full amount, So it's really, I think it's discretionary. It's up to you all if you want to do that now or consider it later after the forum. I don't know how time sensitive this is,
It is.
If it's
When does
time
school
sensitive.
start? The school start. What's the
21st.
21st, isn't it, of
August?
August?
Okay.
And
But
so,
we also have, we also have to allow the education department to have time to get the quotes, purchase the stuff, get the stuff in, do the bags, get it out to the students. It's still a process, so giving them at least 2.5 weeks to do that is beneficial. So my suggestion would be to approve it.
Well, so my question is, can we just approve 3C, just approve as written and just add that funding source and amount pending?
I think that's a good idea. That would be a good idea, Dr. Knife Chief, because that way we could circle back with Vicki Pratt and see whether that rest of that amount is going to be covered from another source or not. Because if they're able to cover it from another source, then maybe we wouldn't have to come up with the full amount. So that, I think that might be a good suggestion.
One more you guys got to consider as well is that the education department doesn't just do Pawnee students here in Pawnee. They also do the surrounding schools as well. So we still have Jennings and Yale and Glencoe and Cleveland to think about. And if you're approving $12,000 for just Pawnee Public Schools, it needs to be noted.
Yes, that's true. We have more than just this one school to think about. And I would be interested in the education department's recommendation to the council about school supplies for the rest of them as well.
Well, the time sensitive part to me is, we could have another EBC special meeting, within a couple of weeks. Is that going to give them plenty of time? Should we table this until we actually have a special meeting? And so as a resolution, there would be a more specific amount that they're asking for. Or we just want to approve the donation request and then details to follow.
One of the suggestions was in budget that we use, the council has $12,000 in their donation item, if that's how much you guys want to do for right now. It's in donations, it's what the savings from the Veterans Organization, but then we could recode it later if we approve it for the COVID funding. That could be another solution.
The only thing there is, I think, in executive session, that money might be needed for other purposes on the legal part.
But I wouldn't put it off any longer. In my opinion, we don't want our kids to be behind, and we're already behind in all of this to begin with.
Sure,
it's just setting our kids back, and that's disappointing.
I like the idea of using the CARES money to pay for this, because I do believe it qualifies under the criteria. But because of the time-sensitive nature, I believe Council Butler's suggestion that we just pay it some funds we have, because we can turn that around and replace it fairly quickly by a resolution.
I would basically leave it up to President Echohawk, because it was his, campaign platform that he wanted to hold off until he had this meeting. But now we have the situation that's, pretty much an emergency. Time sensitive, and I agree very much with Cynthia is that our kids, some of our kids are already, behind, and we don't want to put them behind. We want to make sure they're ready on day one.
Well, because it is a time-sensitive matter, I certainly would have no objection to acting on it now, and for that very reason.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia.
So are we doing this as the 12,000 and do how Cynthia said, and then replace it back into the CARES or the line item on the business council after? Did I say that right? Cynthia, you said go ahead and use the money on our line item, and then when they get it approved through CARES, it'll go back into that. Is that what you meant?
Didn't we just agree to do the resolution? Sorry.
CARES, right?
So
I think
we are going to do it through resolution. So that next resolution would be 2664.
Was that okay with you, President Echohawk?
Well, I'd like to hear from, if we're going to be trying to use that particular business council money to do this, I'd like to hear from Harrison. Because we had reviewed the business council budget, and we may need it for other purposes that we had discussed. So Harrison, what do you think of Cynthia's proposal here? I'm not sure I'm totally understanding it, but
I would like to go ahead and do it from the CARES 1901 budget. For one reason is the way the guidelines read. If you have money already budgeted, then you're not supposed to use CARES funds. So if we did it from one budget, the donation line item, then we're moving it over, it would kind of look like we were using already budgeted money. I don't think that would look good if it was reviewed.
Can we add an approval to an agenda that's already been approved? Can we add a resolution to an agenda that's already been approved?
That's a good question. I don't know that.
Yeah. We can make an amendment.
We have done it by practice. We haven't added anything new to the agenda, but we have had to add resolution numbers, especially when we've dealt with these COVID funds. So the important thing is making sure that resolution number is, the next one up is not a duplicate number. But I don't really see a problem with it.
So we can do two things. We can approve 3C, and then we can have a resolution of 20-64 to fund the school supply donation request in the amount of 12,000.
Yes.
I think that'd probably be a way to go. We can approve it, and then we could make a new resolution as the funding source and the amount.
Yes.
That sound good to you, President?
Yes, I believe so. In other words, to resolve to pay this 12 grand and decide where it comes out of later and another resolution. Was that your suggestion?
Oh, I think our plan, or what we're suggesting, is that we go ahead and approve the Title VI education donation request. Just approve it as written on the agenda.
As written.
As written, and then we make a new resolution of 2064 to provide $12,000 to the Title VI donation request from the CARES funding.
That sounds okay to me. It's up to the council, I think.
May I make a comment?
I like Harrison's idea that the money should, right off the get-go, come from the CARES funding and not be shifted around.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to be taking two votes here.
Muriel had a comment.
Okay.
Yeah, I would like to comment on this. Actually, we have two different pools of money here that we could be talking about. We have the CARES money, which is the 1901 budget. And then we also have the BIA CARES money, which is 4206, and it was the budget that you just approved earlier. The thing with the BIA one is that it's supposed to go for tribal members. And this is, Harrison and I have been discussing this on how this could be funded. And it just suddenly came to me that what I could propose is that a portion of that $12,000 can be actually taken out of the BIA CARES money. But what I would have to do is I would have to justify it as being the portion for the Native students that are Pawnee. And that'll take care of a portion of it. Then the other portion could come out of the regular CARES budget, the 1901. Now, we haven't done any, for the BIA CARES, we haven't done that one by resolution. The only ones we've been doing by resolution are the ones under the 1901 CARES budget. But I would propose that we take, that a portion of that would come out of the BIA CARES money, the 4206 budget. And that could be processed as early as next week. We would just need to come up with a number. Say like the original 7,200 that was requested could come out of the BI CARES, and the balance of it to make it up to the 12,000 would come out of the regular CARES.
Are you saying that the 7,200 that was originally requested, it was strictly for Pawnee members?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Because I was thinking that'd be a little difficult to try to divide that out, and how much you're going to pay per student or something like that, because the Indian education school supply is that's not restricted to Pawnee members. Is that correct?
And it's also self-identification.
Yeah.
Unlike JOM.
Yeah.
It may be that Vicki Pratt might be able to help us on parsing that out. She may know who is enrolled Pawnee students and who isn't.
Actually, our education department would know how many Pawnee students we have there.
We would know from how many students were in the JOM program from last year. That's what we would be basing it off of. But also just a reminder that whenever we do school supplies, it's a long process. We get school supplies list from, or what they're needing from Pawnee schools, from Cleveland schools, from Jennings schools. And then we quote out to 3 different vendors and try to get as much as we can for as less as we can. So it takes us about a week and a half just to do the quotes and cross-reference and check things like that. And then we order it, and then it takes another 2 weeks to even get in. So Alex is just a one-man team. So I don't know if she would have the capability to do all this effectively and efficiently. It would almost be easier just to send the check to Vicki and have her do the purchases for the school supplies for Pawnee schools specifically. And I don't know if that's something that we want to consider for doing all the other schools in the jurisdiction, if we just want to have their rep have the check for these school supplies, or if we want to consider doing reimbursements for the parents, they provide the receipts and we do it that way. But I mean, we have to also remember that it's just Alex in that department, and she's got to oversee a lot of things.
Well, that was going to be the next part of it, was that it would be a check. I could use the letter that came in from Vicki to justify it, and it would be a check that would go to the school. the 7,200.
Yeah, and Vicki can give you a list of how many Pawnee enrolled members are in her program. She won't be able to give you names, but she can give you a number.
Yeah, that would be great. I can get that from her. Actually, like you said, we can always use the last year's JOM students as the basis for this funds, and then the balance of it would come out of the regular CARES money.
So are we talking about a two-step program? Are we talking about using $7,200 to pay for supplies with enrolled members? And then we're going to use separate funds to pay for supplies for Indian students? Or are we just going to restrict it to tribal members this year?
No, I think we can do it this way. I think we can do it with, just in order to get the ball rolling so that they can get the supplies in a timely manner and have them available. And then the balance of it, like I said, is we could take it out of the regular CARES program. So actually both CARES programs would be taking care of a group of people, but one would be taking care of the Pawnee component and the other one would be taking care of the non-Pawnee component.
But from a time situation, if we approved the Pawnee member students and the 7,200 from take that out from the BIA CARES, that would we just be starting with the Pawnee enrolled members.
All right.
And then there would just be a delay on supplies to the other.
Right.
But we don't know the number on Pawnee students right now.
That's what you'd have to use the JOM based, right?
It seems like kind of making it more complicated. Are you just trying to, it seems like out of the CARES Act would be the easiest way, but maybe, I don't know, just because we don't have that number.
Well, my personal opinion is I think we have enough funding in CARES to take care of this without being an issue at all as far as the amount goes. The only question is the timing period. If we use the CARES, then it will take a little while to determine how many students we would need to be providing supplies for. But we could end up providing supplies for all Indian students.
Yeah, why can't we just do it?
It may not be when school starts, but then on the other hand, how many people are going to go to school?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
It also questions how do they define supplies? Because in this day and age, a computer is a supply, you know.
She was talking notebooks, and she specifically said in our conversation, notebooks, paper, those type of things. She said that they would need, whether they were going to school online or, in the classroom. She thought they'd still need them at home.
And she was planning on dispersing that to the parents. Is that she's got a disbursement capability there?
I think she was, with her Title VII parents. I think she was looking to work with, partner with our education, but we just don't have the manpower right now.
But they were going to purchase everything and then they would distribute it out to the students, right?
I like Jamie's suggestion on just giving Pawnee the check for the supplies, the Title VII, give them the check and let them make the purchase.
Yes, that would make sure that the funds were being used for supplies.
Mm-hmm.
So do we want to delay and more students, or do we want to proceed with just the current number that we know from JOM?
I would like to proceed as fast as possible under the method, like Donna says, to get them out as quickly as possible to the students because we're so far behind.
So we would provide for the Pawnee students, and then the remainder would just get caught up.
Yes. My question is, would it, like Donna asked earlier, would it just be quicker and faster to just go with just the CARES money, the original suggestion, which seems to be less difficult and complicated?
I think so. And I think we have enough CARES funds to not be concerned about.
Well, that's what I think.
Amount at this point that we're talking about.
Yeah, that would be what I would recommend. If that is agreeable to everybody, the less complicated, the quicker, the better, if it qualifies.
Well, I think we should go with the CARES Act because it is vital to support our students, and I think that would be justifiable, even if it's raised up in open forum. Why? Well, that's a good reason why. Our students are very important.
I agree.
I think that's a good suggestion. I'm looking at this letter from Vicki, and I'm a little bit unclear because I don't see a $12,000 figure in the letter. The only figure that's in that letter is the cost. She says the cost for school supplies is approximately $7,200. Where did the 12 grand come from?
I believe in that letter, Bunky, she said that there was needed, 12,000 was needed, but they could probably
I thought she said more realistically it would be 12,000.
7,200.
Part of my letter is cut off here on the screen here. Maybe there's maybe that's somewhere on the letter, but I don't see what on my screen. I don't see that figure.
Yeah, it was on there.
Actually, I think it was on the email that
it was
had the letter. It was
in my email transmitting the letter, telling you about the conversation where she said, where I asked her.
Well, no, I had to come out for Christmas because I had issues.
Yeah, I saw on our email where she said they were asking for 72, but realistically it would be like 12,000 that they'd need.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so where are we? Going to take it all out of CARES and do the 12 grand ASAP? Is that the most recent thought?
That'd be my recommendation.
Yes.
I agree.
And do we need a motion to that effect, or?
I'll make a motion.
I think we decided that we would approve the Title VI request, and then we would make a new resolution designating the amount and the source.
So do we need a motion to approve the request at this time?
I believe that'd be the way to go.
And so after that, then we're going to have another motion to do a resolution, right? And how are we sure the next resolution number is 2064?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So
would we not amend the agenda to add that resolution?
Yeah,
right.
We did. All right. So yeah, I'm looking at the letter where the email where she said the actual need is closer to 12,000. Usual supplies, flashcards, educational aids, etc.
Yes, she's saying that some at-home things, that like if they're going to be on doing online learning, she said that they really needed some educational, activities so that parents share, they can do it. Flashcards.
So Cynthia, let me clarify something. Are you there?
Yes.
You need more coffee?
No.
Okay. So we can approve the Title VI donation request. And then we can make a motion to amend the agenda
Mm-hmm.
to add a resolution 20-64.
Yes.
Okay, well, let's go that route. That'd be my suggestion.
Okay, I have those three things ready.
So, okay, I make a motion to approve the Title VI Indian Education School Supply donation request.
Do we
I'll
have a
second.
second?
Gotta give me a name on the second.
Carol.
Carol. Thank you, Carol.
Any further discussion? Call for a vote.
Charles Lone Chief,
He's muted. Buddy, you're muted.
Muted, but
There you
it automatically itself, I guess. But yes, I approve.
Tricia McCray, yes. Carol Chapman,
Yes.
Cynthia Butler,
Yes.
Donna Hare,
Yes.
Charles Knife Chief.
Yes.
Thank you, council. Do I have a motion to amend the agenda to add a new resolution 20-64? That go ahead.
I'll make a motion to amend the agenda to add resolution 2064 for CARES allocation.
In the amount of 12,000?
And the amount of 12,000 for the Title VI program.
Any discussion? Oh, I'm sorry. Do we have a second?
I second.
Who got it?
Dr. Knife Chief.
Dr. Knife Chief, okay.
Just add Indian education after the Title VI.
Yeah, I got
Yes.
it.
Yes.
So any discussion? We have a motion and a second. Call for the vote, please.
Charles Lone Chief,
Yes.
Tricia McCray, yes. Carol Chapman,
Yes.
Cynthia Butler,
Yes.
Donna Hare,
Yes.
Charles Knife Chief.
Yes.
Thank you, council. Now, do we have a motion to approve resolution number 20-64?
We just did that, I thought.
No, we just amended the agenda. Now we're,
Okay, so I'm making a motion to approve resolution 20-64.
Do we have
I'll
a second?
second. I'll second it.
that Carol?
Yes.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
We have a motion and a second for resolution 2064. Any discussion? Hearing none. Do we have a motion to approve?
Call for the vote.
Call for the vote. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Charles Lone Chief,
Yes.
Tricia McCray, yes. Carol Chapman,
Yes.
Cynthia Butler,
Yes.
Donna Hare,
Yes.
Charles Knife Chief.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, council. That concludes our new business, and at this time, we're ready to go into executive session. With that, I'll ask Jamie if she could stop the recording so we can do so. Oh, I'm sorry.
We need to make a motion to go into executive first.
Oh, okay, yes. May I have a motion to go into executive session, please?
I so move.
I'll second. This is Cynthia.
Thank you, Cynthia.
Any discussion? Hearing none. Call for the vote, please.
Charles Lone Chief,
Yes.
Patricia McCray, yes. Carol Chapman,
Yes.
Cynthia Butler,
Yes.
Donna Hare,
Yes.
Charles Knife Chief.
Yes.
We're recording.
Okay, buddy. Now you can.
Yeah, I'm make a motion to come out of executive session, Mr. President.
Second. As Knife Chief.
Call for the question.
Charles Lone Chief,
Yes.
Tricia McCray, yes. Carol Chapman,
Yes.
Cynthia Butler,
Yes.
Donna Hare,
Yes.
Charles Knife Chief.
Yes.
Thank you, Council. We're back in session, and during our executive session, we had a discussion about a pending litigation, the Eagle Road case brought by the Pawnee Nation against a number of different oil and gas companies. And among those several defendants, we've been in settlement negotiations with one of them, which is called the Invervest Company, I guess. And our attorney has been in settlement negotiations with that particular defendant, which is, I think, a small fry compared to some of the other defendants in the case. And as a result of those negotiations, they have now made a counter offer of settlement in the amount of $100,000. And we have discussed that, and it seems to be based on advice of counsel, an appropriate thing for the Pawnee Nation to accept that counter proposal, settlement proposal, as to that particular defendant. And so we would like to, I would like to ask if there is a motion to approve that settlement offer by that defendant for that amount.
I so move.
Is there a second?
I'll second. Donna?
Thank you.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion before we call for the vote?
Will that have a resolution number, or is it necessary?
No. No resolution.
Yeah, well, it won't require a resolution number.
It's already had a resolution number assigned to it.
Yes.
Any other discussion, questions? Call for the vote, please.
Charles Lone Chief,
Yes.
Tricia McCray, yes. Carol Chapman,
Yes.
Cynthia Butler,
Yes.
Donna Hare,
Yes.
Charles Knife Chief.
Yes.
Thank you, counsel. If I may request, Muriel, if you could inform our attorney in that case, Scott Pointer, of the council's decision to accept that settlement offer. That way he can take whatever actions he needs to settle that part of the case and to collect those settlement monies. The second thing that we had discussed we're trying to firm up our legal team and do a contract with our Attorney General, Mr. Chad Smith. And we have negotiations ongoing and asking for the Business Council to approve those negotiations so that they may go forward, leading to a contract with our Attorney General for a 2-year contract.
I will make the motion to authorize our president to continue with the negotiations with Chad Smith on our Attorney General contract.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and we have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote, please.
Charles Lone Chief,
Yes.
Tricia McCray, yes. Carol Chapman,
Yes.
Cynthia Butler,
Yes.
Donna Hare,
Yes.
Charles Knife Chief.
Yes.
Thank you, counsel. I will pursue those discussions with our Attorney General and return to the council with a proposed contract for review and approval as soon as I'm able. hopefully within the next week or two, no later than a week or two. At this point, we've covered an awful lot of ground, and it comes to the time, the clock on the wall says it's time to go almost, and so let us set the next meeting date for our council. And I know we're going to have our forum on the COVID expenditures next Saturday on the 8th of August. And I think that shortly thereafter, we're going to kick into gear, making decisions on those expenditures, because it's all very, very time sensitive. So I think at some point after the 8th of August, we'll want to get back and start considering proposals, for those expenditures, and I don't know what your wishes or suggestions are as to when after the 8th we would need to do it. Hopefully we'll also have at least one attorney contract for your consideration as well. So I would suggest, I'll leave that at your pleasure. I thought somewhere we had talked about a business council special meeting on August 21 from 5 to 7. Is that still on everybody's calendar?
Yes.
I think we would have a lot of work. Maybe we could do a lot of work between the forum and that date to make as many decisions as possible, if you want to stick to that date. Okay. Does that make sense, just to stick to that date for now and to see? And then we may have to meet as needed thereafter to make all of these decisions on the COVID relief expenditures that we can't make on the 21st.
So it's going to be Friday, 21st at 5 o'clock?
Yes, sir.
Good for me.
Sounds good to me.
I'm okay with that.
I'm always flexible.
I got it down.
Nowhere to go.
As I mentioned when I first came in, I'm like the plumber. I'm at your disposal.
We appreciate your leadership, President Echo.
Yes,
we sure do.
Yes.
Don't thank me yet. I'm doing my best, and as I say, I'm very, very much enjoying this new position and very inspired. I have a lot of confidence. I'm starting to get my arms around it, and looking forward to going on a very wonderful journey with all of you all as our nation moves forward. And with that, any other parting thoughts before we move to adjourn? Anyone?
It's a good job, Council, and I was really satisfied with the quarterly reports and all the other reports. So they were very well done, and Burial and the executive staff does a wonderful job. I found that out when I was the interim president. They were very supportive, and it was a good atmosphere to be around. And I can't thank them enough for being there and supporting me and being very helpful. So I know what you're experiencing right now, Walter.
Yes. Yes, I share those same thoughts, Mr. Lone Chief.
Yeah, and Cynthia, she was right at the top of the list to help, and Muriel too, and they were just wonderful. And Louise, we call her Wheeze, she did great too. I just think we have some great departments, good finance department all the way around. Our divisions are excellent. Turk committee is probably way ahead of a lot of the other tribes around. I know the Cherokee Casino has an ad that they wrote the book on, you know, having the COVID response down to a T. I think our Turk committee was way light years ahead of them.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Mr. Lone Chief. And with that, any other comments?
Just keep up the good work, Walter.
Okay, well, I think that brings us to the end of the day. The clock on the wall says it's time to go, so we are dismissed.
I'll make a motion. I make a motion to adjourn.
Oh, man.
Who got second?
Second.
I got Donna. I see her face.
Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Charles Lone Chief.
Yes.
Tricia McCray, yes. Carol Chapman.
Yes.
Steve Butler.
Yes.
Donna Hare.
Yes.
Charles Lone Chief. Or Charles Knife Chief. Huh?
Yes and yes.
And I have 1239.
All right. See y'all later.
Thank you. We're
Yep.
dismissed. Thank you.
Stay
Remainder of the
well,
good.
Pawnee Nation.
Way to go.